For today's episode, we are going to talk about the accessories for the Glocks. Alright, in 3, 2, 1. Unit together, we just think that it's, rough end. Literally, I have no idea that after certain periods of time, now I have this many Glocks. Maybe that's not a Glock. Maybe that's also not a Glock. But it's born on the Glock system. You see, the Glock, the Marui Glock system right here, it is like the M4 in the airsoft fields. Because there's just so many Glocks. So many different forms, so many different systems. And thanks to GHK, their Gen 5s, that we eventually decided, you know what? This is the one that we're gonna make some accessories for. And this is the part that we're gonna talk about today, the Magnus Pro Hop Chamber and the Magnus Pro TRI Performance Trigger. Let's check it out. Well, personally, I think here I would just start with the Magnus Pro Hop Chamber, since this one, it's probably just the easiest to talk about. Ow. Yeah, you know what? Just, when you're tired, just give yourself a break. Otherwise, it's gonna be like me. Now today I have to deal with all the Glocks with this. We'll see how it goes.
Grand
thumb, Glock thumb. Let's talk about the stock hop-up chamber. In fact, again, just like what I said from their previous review, it's not a bad hop-up chamber, but it's just the overall adjusting process. It's unpredictable. You see, I think it's pretty genius that they designed this screw right here, which originally, intentionally, they want you to adjust the hop-up when you rack the slide, that you can stick in this Allen key and then adjust right to left. However, the problem with that is, the Allen key you can only adjust to like a certain angle. And also, I think that this really is the biggest problem, is this plate right here. If they can make the overall, let's say, the machining better, or perhaps make it more accurate, it wouldn't have the problem of shifting right and left. And this really causes some problem, because again, this is something that vibrates a lot while you're shooting. And with a plate that is this loose, you know, you can already tell what's gonna happen to the gun. Sometimes the BB might go up, sometimes the BB might go down. So in that case, despite the fact that yes, I think this is a smart idea. However, the production is just, I think GHK, you guys can fine tune this. There's still potential for it. Please trust me on this. All right, now let's take a closer look on the stock hop chamber. I have to say that again though, I really think that it's not a bad design. All they need to do is just to move this screw further to this point. That makes the adjustment easier and also make this plate slightly more accurate or make it very accurate. This way, it's gonna solve the most of the problem because you see, this thing moving right and left, and since this plate is already by itself, I really think that, you know, all that movement and all that wobble, it's just, yeah, I don't like that. No wobble, good. Wobble, bad. Right, then the way to take it apart, it's actually fairly easy. Unlike most of the hop chamber, all you need to do is just use a screwdriver, loosen the screws. You need to grab a tweezer first. You want to clamp onto this little, how do you say that? This tube. Pull it out first. That releases it from the little O-ring right here. You don't want to lose that. Once you lose it, this pin is going to come out all the time. See? Okay. Now you can get the pin out. And after that, you can easily loosen the screw. You know, I really think that the ugliest thing right now is my thumb. That dirty bandage. So ugly, guys. Please be careful. Don't work while you're tired. Alright, then you can move the plate. See, now you can remove the plate and also the little screw. You can just kind of move it a little bit. Now takes everything apart. And back to our ASMR video, lots of people were asking us like, hey, would the stock bucking and the barrel fit onto our Magnus Pro? The answer is yes, it will fit, but it's not gonna work. Huh? Here, let me explain the reason why. You see, the stock hop chamber, it is actually fairly simple. The pressure plate goes directly on the top. And there's no other thing to pressure the bucking. So, you know, the only pressure that comes to the bucking is this plate right here. However, unlike the Magnus Pro, since we want no wobble on the chamber whatsoever, and so we have this ring design. Let me take it apart and show you what's going on. All right. Now I got it apart. This is the ring of the Magnus Pro. And the way you install the entire thing together, it's you clip it out like this. However, the difference when it comes to the barrel unit, okay, the stock, despite the fact that two of these look exactly the same, they are actually quite different. The bucking is different, and also the barrel cut is different. You see, this one, that's the Marui spec. This is the Marui spec, which is much longer. However, for the GHK stock hop bucking and also the barrel, it's designed differently. If you compare them, then you will see the difference. You see, it's quite shorter. Then you might be asking, like, what's this distance for? They actually put that into the bucking itself, which they created this extra ring that goes inside. Because, you know, for the GHK Glock, it is a very hard kicking pistol. And for such a large moving part, sometimes the BB might get to kick to the front, sometimes it might get to kick to the rear. And in order to make it more consistent, they actually created this ring inside the bucking. So that way, it creates consistency. However, when you fit that system directly onto the Magnus Pro, that creates a problem. It makes it too tight since we have this ring. Once you add it, and then you put it onto the hop chamber. Once you add the screw, this thing gets extremely tight. And once you stuff a BB inside, it is extremely hard to push out. Let me just do a very quick demo. even without the screw. See, now I'm using my screwdriver. Try it. No shitting, it takes this much force to push out the BB. So if you still want to edit this way, then yeah, you have a non-firing airsoft gun that you can practice at home, and it's not gonna shoot BBs. Well, that's the reason why we're starting with the Magnus Pro Hop Chamber here, because it's simple. We love simple stuff, right? Out of the box, once you take it out, it's this very beautiful packaging, which we spent quite some time designing it. And right here, you got the parts list. Listed right here, you know, got everything listed. So if you, sorry, we don't sell the parts separately. Huh? But you know which part is which, how to assemble the entire thing. And to take it off, quite easy, just, you know, pop it out. And you got this gorgeous and beautiful hop-up chamber right here. You see, the beauty with the Magnus Pro Hop Chamber is that it is just pure, straight up simple. It doesn't have too many fancy options. However, the whole point is I want stable pressure on the hop-up bucking, and also I want no wobbleness on the chamber. You know, especially when it comes to the contact, because the contact is the key. That thing touches the bucking. If that thing wobbles around, your contact is gonna move right and left, and eventually the BB is gonna go right and left too. So yeah, this is an old design already. However, it seems like no one made an upgrade part for GHK just yet. And eventually we decided, you know what, why not? Let's fix this issue for GHK. And so the overall adjustment, it is extremely simple, that we have this little screw right here. And all you need to do, you can just adjust it. Wow, you can even adjust it with your finger if your fingernail is long. Considering my fingernail is already really short, but you can actually adjust it with your finger. But if you break a nail, don't come to us. Disclaimer. Anyways, all right. So now right here, let me answer a few questions for you guys from the previous ASMR videos. Okay. Now right here, I want to go over some detailed feature on the Magnus Pro Hop Chamber right here. So let's open it up, and sorry, stock bucking and barrel. They're gonna buy. All right, let's get a closer look. Well, right here, we actually have some like very fine machining on the CNC hop-up chamber. And also, you might notice why 2 pins right here, because we don't want any wobble to the hop-up chamber. And just 2 little screws to hold the entire unit together, we just think that it's, you know, it's not realistic. So we had those 2 pins added, and see, once you fit it in, ooh, see, very little wobble. God, I hate this, it's so ugly. Very little wobble right here. Fine machining right here. Take a look at that. And then right here, that's the ring. That's the design of the ring. And we have a small O-ring set right here. So once you adjust it, you know, when it rubs against the surface, you see the concave right here? Yeah, it's gonna prevent your adjustment to, you know, move due to vibrations. And very fine contact right here. And once you add the bucking inside, boom. The full travel, it's I would say roughly around 1 millimeter, which I think is more than enough. So let's say if you stuff in let's say a maple leaf, hop-up bucking, or other types of bucking inside, it's gonna guarantee you to lift up to some insanely heavyweight BBs. Friction Pro. Well, we're pretty much done with the Magnus Pro, right? No, not yet. Here is a small hack I found out about the Magnus Pro Hop. Here, let's take a look. You see, you might see this one. This one is with the steel slide, but it might look slightly different to you. It's the compensator and the Radian barrel unit. I just think that this it's so nicely designed. It is so hot. It makes your gun so unique and just looks so good. Right, but sadly, this comes to a VFC spec. There's no such thing for a GHK spec. So as you can see that this is my personal VFC G45, and this one also has a Radian barrel unit inside. And here's the little hack that I would like to show you. So let me take it apart. Okay, then in this case, I have to say, you know, there are like different brands out there and different Glocks out there, but I have to say, I think that the WE system is closer to the Maruti system. However, the VFC and GHK system, they are actually quite similar in terms of the, let's say, barrel dimensions or trigger dimensions. See, now here, this is the original barrel that's on the VFC system. In order to modify it onto the GHK system, that you actually need to cut out quite a bit of meat. You need to cut it out to leave the space for the stopper, and also you wanna make sure you cut off some of the meat right here, so you know it leaves that leaves the gap so that it actually locks into the gun. So if you compare them, it's it's quite a bit of a meat. But so far I've fired more than 1,000 rounds on this gun. So far this little plate didn't break, so I think it probably works. And all you need to do is just swap out a screw to a longer one. Once you have a longer one, this one would actually hold it in place. So you know when you move it, you're not gonna pull the entire barrel unit out. And yeah, after that, you get yourself a very nice looking Radian compensator on your GHK Glock. Oh yeah, here, there's another trick I want to show you guys. GHK system is the only system that allows you to do this. I'll show you. Well, you know, the GHK Glock system, it is the only one that comes without the hammer system. It's the flicker system. So it actually allows you to load your gun with only one hand and in one single motion. And this is super cool that you can really show off your gun and show off your, I don't know, accessories on the field. Here, let me show you guys. So basically what you do is you want to hold your gun and make sure you have a steel slide with it. And then it's like you pulling a rope, and you're pulling the rope very, very hard. You're pulling it like that. And all of a sudden you stop at the rear, kind of pull it and stop. It's gonna load your gun since there's literally no friction on the hammer part. Eye protection. Magazine with BBs inside. Okay, now we're done with the fun part. Now let's talk about the tricky part. The trigger. All right, now let's check out what's inside the Magnus Pro trigger unit. This one is, I think this one that actually took us quite a bit of effort because this is the trickiest part when it comes to the GHK system. Because again, like I said, if you mess around with the trigger or the fire control group, if you mess around with the friction on those 2 points, your gun is literally the hard kicking Glock will be gone. Say for the flicker spring, you switch to a weak one, it's not gonna work. It will give you very low FPS, and also the recoil is gonna be, like inconsistent. And so there are quite a bit of heads up to let you guys know when you want to install the TRI trigger into your Glock. Well, here comes probably the most important part of this entire video, the trigger part, really. Because it is a very, very sensitive system. And disclaimer right here, if you think that changing the Magnus Pro trigger unit is gonna turn your GHK Glock into a Marui trigger pull. Turn off the video right here and don't waste your time because it's not. It is still a GHK Glock trigger. However, it just makes it feel better and the feel is different. And here we will cover the details of it. All right, here, let's take a closer look into the two most important part, the flicker and the striker. You see, once you pull the trigger, instead of using the hammer to hit the valve, the flicker is the key that releases your finger force. And that's the reason why if you switch to, like, let's say a very soft flicker spring, now everything that comes down to your finger pull. If you pull it soft, it goes soft. If you pull it super hard, it fires super hard. And that's the really tricky part. You really have to make sure that the friction that goes onto those 2 points are consistent. Otherwise, you will have big and small recoil all over the place, and also the FPS velocity output. Right, so right here, I would say, try not to add too much grease to the striker. And if your system that got pretty hard to push the trigger, then you can add a bit of grease here. That should be fine. However, we will take it apart and show you guys exactly what's going on inside. Okay, now right here, if you haven't seen our previous very long time ago Glock video, we actually went pretty deep inside to tell you guys exactly how the system works.
This little metal piece is the key of the GHK Glock 17 trigger system. Unlike the old system that uses force of the spring, when we pull the trigger, the little metal piece charges the force, and when released, a big amount of force was sent to the valve knocker. It was inspired from Mantis shrimp. It doesn't hammer the valve, but instead it flicks it.
Okay, inside the box, once you open it up, the first thing that you will pull out is this small bag. Don't lose the spring inside. It is one of the most important part of this entire unit. And there's also a pin and a longer screw inside. Okay, and after that, you can, here comes the pretty one, the trigger unit. And it comes with the golden safety and the gloss black safety. Personally, I love the gloss black safety. It just makes your gun look super sick. Oh, am I holding a VFC Glock? Yes, we will talk about that. Right, now, because we don't, we spend a lot of time designing packages. We want to give that premium look. And obviously, we don't want our trigger or any parts to fall off in the middle of shipping. And so, yeah, in that case, we had double-sided tape inside the unit. So I would say the best way to take it out is use a screwdriver, tuck it into a hole here, and just lightly twist it a little bit, and you can pull it out just fine. And the same thing with the safety. Boom, you got it. Okay, now here comes the system. Originally, back to our ASMR video that you might be asking the side, hey, why are you guys using the first generation flicker? Because there are actually two different generations. This one, it is the first generation, and this one is the second generation. And here I would like to tell you the difference in between those. Well, nowadays, the GHK system, they all use the Gen 2 system, and there is a reason. Once you get a closer look, that you will see the Gen 1 system, it is just one solid metal. See that? The Gen 2 system, it's actually got a spring and a tiny pin that goes inside. Part of the reason of adding this more complicated system into it, it's because the Gen 1 system had a problem. You see, there is this little concave that goes onto the flicker itself. See it? And that's the metal bar that it rubs against. Say if this thing it's rubbed too many times and it deforms just a slightly little bit, the trigger pull gets extremely hard, like hardcore hard. And this system actually helps to solve that because they actually add this little spring inside, so it adds a little bit of flexes into the bar, into the flicker itself. So this way it's not just hard against the bar every time. And if you pull it too many times, the flicker is gone and the entire system becomes extremely hard to pull, and now you have to add in a little bit of oil to it, and then eventually when the oil runs out, it's hard to pull again. So that's also the other tricky part. Something I need to let you guys notice that you might not know that the plastic trigger unit itself, it's also a flicker, because the plastic is actually pretty soft. So when you pull the trigger, it actually helps to shear that little bit of, let's say, stress release if we use the Gen 1 system. So once you pull it, it releases it. It's not gonna bang the flicker that hard. However, once you switch to a metal trigger, this thing only lasts for like 500 shots. So if you have an old Gen 3 at home that you swap this on, make sure you don't use this. Otherwise, after 500 shots, it's gone. Well, use the Gen 2. We got it pre-installed for you. However, if you accidentally took it out, like this, oops, let me show you the trick to put it back. If with my screwed up thumb can do it, I think you guys can do it just fine. You wanna pull up the flicker, and then you wanna set the spring right here and with the pin inside. And after that, as you push the pin down, you wanna push the flicker towards to the right side. That pushes the spring into the flicker. So here comes the trick, okay? 3, 2, 1. Okay. Here, let me set it into place. Like that. And push it down. You want to make sure that the spring is standing straight. Okay, and in, and got it. Ah. Oof, but you got it. You got it. I think you can do it. And this really is the main problem of the GHK system, especially when you use the stock trigger. You see, during the pre-travel, you see the striker actually moves a little bit. Can you see it? And this is not good because sometimes when you have, like, let's say a magazine that's too close to this area, it can potentially hit the valve, and it will release a little bit of gas out, and that's somewhat inconsistent. And so after you swap out to, oh yeah, this one, it is a Gen 3. You know what, let's compare Gen 5 first. After you add the trigger to a system, to the Gen 5 system, the Magnus Pro trigger, now look at the striker. It's no longer moving. And also another very great advantage about having the system is that you can adjust the travel from here. So say if you, let's say I have the gun loaded like this. All I need to do is just rack it and stick in the screw. I can adjust my trigger travel this way. Quite convenient. And by the time you adjust it, since there's quite a bit of pre-travel before you hit the wall. And with this system right here, we actually included 2 different screws. The little one, it's already pre-installed inside the trigger. And the longer one, yes, it's for the Marui system. Oh, by the way, another thing. Last but not least, this spring right here. It is extremely important. It is so important because this spring, it's actually different than the stock spring that's used inside the stock trigger. And I will tell you the reason why they are different. As I mentioned, the stock trigger, it acts itself as a flicker as well, since it actually flexes, right? So it helps the flicker to release in a much easier fashion. However, when you switch to like a full metal trigger, it's different now. Because the trigger, it's hard. There's no flexes whatsoever. It actually creates inconsistency if the flicker spring is too soft. That's the reason why we include this hardened spring for the metal trigger. Because if you have a soft one, your gun is going to be inconsistent. And that's say if you are really unlucky that your gun still fires in an inconsistent fashion after you swap out to our trigger. Here's a small trick. You can pull the spring slightly longer with two tweezers, you know, just clip it on each side and just pull it slightly longer. Add it in, it will solve the problem. Not very professional, but we can't guarantee every gun is the same. So we added this spring and hopefully it'll work on your gun. Okay, right here, I will show you the entire process on how to install the trigger, okay? First thing, tap the pin out. Tap it out. Tap it out. The entire unit will be out. Boom. Right, second thing to do, move these, and then right here you don't want the flicker spring here, so I'm gonna move it and push this one out, and this unit gone. Now you want to grab the trigger, which we have everything pre-installed for you, and yeah, this part just like the process that we just showed you. Okay. And inside we have the little screw that you can add in from the rear. It's pretty much down to your preference. You can add it here or you can add it here, either ways. Okay, in this case I'll add it here. Okay, and here comes a little trick. Just in case if you want to swap out to the gloss black safety, and then you don't know how to add this little spring inside. Here's the trick. Find a grease that's very sticky, okay? And just do like a tiny drop here. See? That little bit of grease, you can stick the spring on. And this way, when you install it, becomes extremely easy. See, now you got it on. Okay, now it just comes down to the hammering. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. And then it's a pin punch. And now you got the safety in. And after that, the same old process that I showed you guys.
Oh shit, here we go again.
2 hours later.
Now you want to put everything back together, okay? So this unit, you want to install the bar first, and just stick it in, and then add the bar. Add the pin that comes inside the little plastic bag that it came with. Make sure that it links. Okay. and hammer it. Make a pin punch. Okay, got it. Now, one of the most important trick that I want to share with you all, it's the alignment hack. So first, you want to set the trigger into the frame, and then set this in, and install this pin right here. This pin is quite easy to install. Okay. Now this thing is kind of in the way, kind of ready, and take the stronger spring, and then you can use just a thin screwdriver to set it in. Okay, close it. And after that, that's also another trick. Add a little bit of grease here, so this way that you can set the spring and it's gonna fall off. Usually people takes a very long time to get these holes aligned because it's quite many parts. So when you install the upper piece, the flaker bar, you want to pull the trigger first to make sure that this surface actually aligns with the bar. See it? When I pull it, you kind of want to make sure that they align. And after that, push it down. Okay? Once you push it down, you want to find a screwdriver that's a bit similar to the width of this bar here. Now, the real hack. All right, you want to push it out a little bit here, like that, and push it against the table. Yeah, and just roll it like this. Done. Well, now we got the trigger installed, and let's test fire it. Ooh. Yep, works just fine. And like I said, if you want to adjust your trigger pull, now the pre-travel is pretty long. See, now all you need to do is just rack it, and then take your magazine out and stick this. You want to pull the trigger first, and then that kind of shows where the screw is, and now just adjust it counterclockwise. When you spin it counterclockwise to decrease the travel, clockwise to increase the travel, and don't make it too tight. Sometimes when you make it too tight, it's gonna create some problems. Okay, now let's see. Okay, let's make it a little more.
A few moments later.
Now, the pre-travel is very short. And out of gas. Okay, I think this is probably the biggest surprise throughout the entire development process is that, look at the packaging. It says GHK Glock series custom trigger. So originally we only designed this trigger unit for the GHK Glock series. However, we didn't expect that all the Glock triggers out there, they're actually quite similar, and this is probably one of the most questions that we get asked all the time. Do your trigger fit on the Gen 3 Glock? The answer is yes. The GHK Glock Gen 3, and especially the G34 with the golden trigger and the golden barrel. Ooh, so hot. Look at that. Beautiful. This is one of my favorite builds. It's, oh god, it is so hot. And since it's a Glock trigger, it goes onto the VFC system as well. And this one is just, I really like the trigger pull on this one. It just, boom, so hot. The good old WEG34. This one, it also works with it. See? Look at that. Yeah, this one I think it's out of gas. It comes in the magazine. Boom, works. And the good old Marui Gen 4. I'm sorry, for the Gen 5 it doesn't work. It's proprietary. Let's use the WE magazine. Yes. This one works too. Last but not the least, I think based on our research afterwards, I think it also works with a KJ, maybe SRC, and I'm not perfectly sure with KC since they are always proprietary. However, the other good news is it also works with a TP22. God, this gun with this trigger, it just looks that much nicer. Look at that. This one, rack the slide. And this is what the longer screw for, because for the Marui systems, or say the TP22 or the AAP01s, or even the WE ones, it needs a longer adjustment screw. So yeah, we included that into the little bag in which you can insert it yourself and yeah, roll your TP22 or AP01 with it. Yeah, AP01 just used a regular Marui style trigger. Yeah, we didn't put it on, but it works. Okay, right here we got the stock gun with the stock trigger right here, if you can take a look. And we also have a different frame here loaded with the TRI trigger inside the Magnus Pro trigger. Flat trigger here. And so technically what we're gonna do is we will load 10 rounds of 0.2 grams into the magazine, test the FPS on the stock setting, and then the Magnus Pro setting. Let's test it out. 10 shots. Not gonna lie, it's pretty stable. The maximum is 93.1, the minimum is 89.0. Pretty decent. Now, the TRI trigger, let's see how it goes. And 10 rounds of 0.2 gram BBs inside the magazine. Okay, Jess, you ready?
Ready.
Okay, 10 shots. Fired in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I would say maximum 96.
Damn!
Okay, well, at least it's stable. Huh? That's good. All right, apparently it took us, I have to say that it is so hot. It is so hot in Taiwan right now. It's not a very good season for airsoft games and shit. But anyways, we're here. We took some time to set up the slightly updated quantum rest in which that we can tilt it around and then also adjust the angle and obviously shock absorption. So here's the plan. You see, right now we have 2 sets of hop chambers right here. We have the Quantum Magnus Pro with Friction Pro inside. And also this one is the stock locking and also the stock chamber. And we will do a comparison on the target, which is set at the range of 20 meters. And the size of it is 30 by 30. And we will test fire like 3 times for each. And eventually to see the average grouping on each to see if the hop chamber actually makes a difference. And then as usual, here, for the BB that we're shooting today, yeah, like in Taiwan, since the most of us, we use 0.3 grams for our pistols. Then in this case, I think I would just load up some 0.3 gram BBs and test it out first. All right, let's do some test firing. Jess, you ready?
Ready.
Okay, let's do one shot. Okay. Slightly under hop. Okay, need to do sound adjustments.
12 o'clock midnight.
Okay, fine. Finally got this thing adjusted. Well, as usual, some 0.3 gram BBs. Put it here, and then 10 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 rounds of BBs. And load it into the magazine. Now, with the stock GHK hop chamber inside, let's finally get to see how it turns out. The gun is hot, range hot. Jesse, ready?
Ready.
All right, 10 shots. Fired in 3, 2, 1. Nice. It's actually not bad. Got one flyer. Let's see the result. Okay, let's see. Finally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we had one flyer. So, all right, let's get to round 2. Let me go change the target paper. Okay, magazine loaded. The gun is hot. Stock hop chamber test number 2. Jesse, ready?
Ready.
Camera ready?
Ready.
All right, 10 shots. Fired in 3, 2, 1. Okay, more flyers. Actually, the result, I think it actually looked pretty similar to the one test that we did on the stock setting. Even after a long time, still performs the same. That means the data is accurate.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 off this time. Okay,
Stock chamber test 2. 8 out of 10. And yeah, some flyers. Okay, Jess, load the paper and I will load the gun. Okay, 在录了吗? It's rolling, still rolling. All right, gun is hot. Test number 3. Everything rolling. Double check again.
Rolling.
Okay, test number 3. Fired in 3, 2, 1. Wow, what happened to that? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, really? Okay, 7. Stock chamber test number 3. Test number 3. All right, now time for Magnus Pro. Let's see how it goes. Okay, well now we got the Magnus Pro and Friction Pro set inside the GHK Glock, and again load 10 wait, how many rounds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 rounds of 0.3 gram BBs. Loaded inside the magazine. Gun. Hot. Jesse, ready?
Ready.
All right, 10 shots. Let's see how it goes. Fired in 3, 2, 1, go. Bullseye. Woo! 10 rounds on the paper. This one, it is Magnus Pro. Magnus Pro Test 1. 10 out of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yosh. All right, let's do round 2 of the test. God, it's so hot. Crazy hot. Okay. Gun is hot. Camera hot. Camera hot. Okay, round 2. 10 shots. Fired in 3, 2, 1. Yes. Beautiful. All right, 10 rounds into the gun. Gun is hot. Camera hot. All right, 10 shots. Jesse, ready?
Ready.
Fired in 3, 2, 1. Oh yay! Magnus Pro test number 3. 10 out of 10. All right, now we got all the data collected, 3 tests for each hop chamber. So we'll take it back to the studio, analyze it, and see the actual difference on the grouping test. All right, just in case if you guys are wondering how heavy this hop chamber can lift, well, let's take a look. Since the Magnus Pro inside, it's got a 4mm treble. Oh, this one is pre-adjusted to some heavyweight BBs. Let's see. See, take a look. That's about 1mm here. You see it? Yep. So let's test out some 0.48 gram BBs and see how it goes. Yeah, I wouldn't say lift all the way up. I think it's capable of doing that. But who fires 0.48 gram for a pistol though? Okay, right here it comes to the conclusion of this video. Like after the test and also after the tutorial, I think you guys probably get a pretty clear idea on what's going on our Magnus Pro series, the Magnus Pro Trigger and also the Magnus Pro Hop Chamber. Well, I'm not gonna say this hop chamber is gonna make your gun shoot laser. However, at least it would make it more predictable and make sure it really makes the adjustment time that much more enjoyable. At least make it predictable. And also for the trigger, again, that's the really tricky part on the GHK system. But once you add it, it really gives a brand new look to your gun and perhaps give you a brand new feel to the overall shooting experience. So really give those a try, and it works with literally all the Glock systems out there. Not my Radian 5. Okay, here comes the most important part. You know, actually making this video that got lots of memories because I have so many Glocks right here. However, this one, it says Quad and GHK 001. This is the first GHK Glock that we got. And yeah, this is the first GHK Glock in the world. And I have to say that in the beginning, we were just making videos. And because of your support, because of your like and subscribe and all that, watching our videos, giving us comments, ideas, or even like just things to say. It really helped us so much that we eventually really turned this into our job. We turned our hobby into a job and we still love it. How many people in the world can get that? So once again, despite the fact that I probably said that like a million times, but I still want to let you guys know, thank you guys so much. And now the Quantum Magnus series is finally out for you guys. And we're so happy that we get to share the solution with you guys. If you guys got some extra coins inside your pocket, please check out our website, buy some lubricant pens or some Magnus Pro or even the Friction Pro. I think you guys are gonna like it a lot. And definitely, if you guys run into some problems, questions, shoot us some message. We will try our best to help you to solve the problems, because literally we spend hours and hours just testing the parts to make sure that we find out all the problems that you guys might run into. So at least we get a solution to you guys if you guys run into some problems. That's it for the episode today. Stay tuned, and we got more exciting stuff coming.